So welcome to the next episode of Stack Dive. Today is going to be a short stream where I look at JSON web tokens, which is an authentication standard used across the web for authenticating a user's permission to access features of your website. And so the idea is that a user could sign in and be authenticated. And then once you've authenticated them, you can give them a JSON web token, which authorizes them for a limited period of time to access part of your service. Now, the way this works is you just take a JSON object, which in Python will be a dictionary. And excuse me. And then you take that object and you encode it with an algorithm. Argon 2 is supposed to be the best. It won some password. Wait, no, sorry. No, actually, I don't think it is Argon 2. It's some sort of encryption algorithm. It's a one-way encryption algorithm where you encrypt the token and you have the key and you have the algorithm. You provide the token to the user. They can't decrypt it because they don't know your secret password and they don't know your algorithm, and therefore they just have to send the token in its encrypted state, and then you can decrypt that token and check the information in it. And if the information is decryptable using your secret key and your algorithm, then you know that you sent the token. And if then you can check the information and, for example, check, oh, is this the right user? Do they have the right access? Yes, okay, you can access this. So that's basically how that works. So what I'm going to do today is I've got two pieces of functionality that I'm going to do today. One is create an access token. This is creating the JWT token. And the other is checking the access token. So checking that the person's access is legitimate. And for the time being, I don't need anything complicated with this access token. In fact, I think all I really need is an expiry. Yeah, I think really all I need is an expiry. Because the only way to get one of these tokens will be if you are authenticated as the admin. Yeah. Okay. So let's do that then. So the first thing I want to do is set up the test create access token. So yeah, check if the create access token function correctly creates a JWT token with the correct data. Cool. Okay, let's check if this works. I don't think it will. So we do PyTest, tests, app tests. So what I'm using here for all of this, by the way, is a library called PyJWT. You can see last released August 1st, 2024. It's quite simple. This is just it, really. JWT encode this, JWT decode this, and you can see it's a very well used library. It's got 4.9 billion downloads, which means that it's a pretty safe bet that this is going to be a safe algorithm, a safe library to use. And if you look, probably see it's GitHub as well. 5.1k stars. I mean, that's actually not very much for something that's been downloaded 5 billion times. Because I'm using this is all for a FastAPI application, and FastAPI has been downloaded how many times? See, FastAPI has only been downloaded 760 million times, but it's got like 77k GitHub stars or something. So yeah, that's strange. But I guess maybe this gets downloaded as part of other packages, so maybe people don't even know it exists. Whatever. So let's work on this then. So we've got app tests, test auth.py, and then we're going to do the test create access token test. And this just means that, oh, it passed. Oh, that's nice. Right off the bat, it passed. Access token. So to encode data, if expires, expire equals date time now plus expires delta. So we actually want that to be 30. So this is basically saying, get me the current date time and add on some expiry delta. And by default, that time data is 30 minutes, which means that if someone gets given a JSON web token, if we give someone a JSON web token, then inside of it, they will have this expiry and also whatever data has been passed in dictionary format. And when we decode the JWT, so when we check the access token, we can check the expiry. We can check the expiry, and as long as the expiry is greater than the current time, that person still has access via this JWT. If they stop having access, then they'll need to be issued a different access token. How exactly we would do that, I'm not sure for the time being. Maybe they have to log in again. I don't know fully how that part works, but yeah. So for now, this works. That's great. I wasn't actually expecting that to work straight away, so it looks like it's just this part we might have to do. Check if the check access token function correctly checks if token is valid. So check access token. So this should, yeah, so this should basically say, yep, this is a valid string. So let's try this one. Hello? Why isn't that working? Oh, bloody terminal. Useless. Right, you gonna work now? PyTest. Tests. App tests. Test auth.py. Bam bam. Check access token. Or rather, test check access token. Oh, that passed as well. Yeah, I don't want that. So then we want to do print token is valid. No. Because what happens if it fails then? Is that enough? Is it that simply enough? Let's make it fail. So, oh yeah, also we need to check, don't we? So return payload. If payload expire is greater than that, else return false, print token has expired. Print token is valid. Print is invalid encryption. There we go. Just wonder if I've okay. Anyway, there we go. Now let's try it. Failed. There's no attribute. Did you mean pi JWT error? Right. So what happens when this thing causes an error? So if that's causing an error for some reason, let's just see what error it's actually causing. A bit random, isn't it, that it just does it randomly. Type in datetime.date time. Print token is valid. True. Bam. So if you can see maybe that I'm just sort of doing some of this quickly. This is because of this thing, Supermaven. Oh, you can't see it. Supermaven is a really nice code completion tool, and it's free. I don't know how long it'll be free for because it is really good. It's really fast, and the paid version's even better. So I would recommend getting that. You'll see me using it throughout. So we got print token is valid. Yeah. Let's see if that works now then. Nice, passed. Right. So what we want to do now is create a new token with different data. So we're going to say data. Don't really need to do that, do we? Hello. Admin 2, let's do token auth.create access token, and then we'll do expires delta. Now we're going to do a time delta here of datetime.time delta minutes equals minus 5. Time delta? Yeah, is that legit? I'd rather that was spread out. And check if the token is valid. Assert not yet. Aha! So it's saying, no, it is true. So if I say print payload, exp from timestamp, let's see. And I also print date Time.now. How random. I mean, this one is the correct time. This is probably going to have to be a ChatGPT question. Do. PyTZ. I've never heard of this. Do you think it's built in? Yeah, it's not built in. Okay, so it wants me to do this. So let's try this. Let's do all the tests this time. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's try that. Signature has expired. Aha! Okay, cool. That seems to have done it. So I guess this one is just assuming UTC, which is fine by me. And same token is valid. And it's saying it's expired. Okay, so okay. So this is something else that I like to do. I like to record things that I've just learned. In flashcards. Yes, this is a special field that's automatically checked and used to see token has expired or not. Whoops. Okay. So that means now we can do try. Well, actually, no. Rather than do that, what I'll do instead is, we know this one causes some sort of, this is an expiry error. Actually have to do this. We don't have to do that at all, actually, do we? No. Okay. Next up. If we know that this one creates a certain type of error, let's just see what happens. Check token is valid, invalid token, yeah. Rather than do that, why don't we say we've got this nice token plus 1, 2, 3, 4. Signature verification failed. Okay, so we get this one, invalid signature error. So we can do accept awt.exceptions invalid signature. We can turn this into a try. Accept like that. Say print token is invalid signature, return false. Expired, return false. See if this works now. Excellent. So that is how you can set up the ability to create an access token and the ability to check an access token. Payload is not accessed yet. Actually, that's a good point. Don't need to do that, do I? Return false, return false. Get rid of that. Is there anything else that I need to do here? So I've got my FastAPI application, which is in main. And don't really need to give any information. I can just give it an empty dictionary. So what I really want actually is not to get the token from here. I just want to get it at login. So instead, so this is another part of, this is part of the way FastAPI uses tokens, uses JWTs, and it sets up, you set up this thing here, this OAuth2 password bearer, this, I can't actually fully remember what this thing does. I mean, part of what it does is set up the Swagger or OpenAPI documentation, which is nice, but it also does some other stuff. Oh yeah, that's what it does. So this thing allows you to create routes that depend on the token. And do you really need the token? So yeah, this allows you to set up routes that depend on the token. So you can say, oh, it depends on OAuth scheme 2. And what this means is it's going to pull out the token from your authorization headers, and then you can pass it in, and so long as it correctly passes, then you can use this function, essentially, or this route, if you like. So yeah, there we go. Now, I'm just going to check quickly. Oh, we have a viewer. Hello. What drew you in? What do you want to hear me talk about? So at the moment, we're just looking at OAuth 2. We've sort of got the JSON web token set up, and now I'm just looking at the FastAPI method for using the JSON web tokens to protect routes and stuff. And I want to set it up so that when someone logs in, that's when they get the JSON web token, and after 30 minutes, they'll have to log in again. Yeah. I've already got all of this. And also the way it sort of works is in OAuth 2, in this FastAPI specification, you've got this OAuth 2 scheme, and you say tokener, and then this is used to generate your documentation. And it should say you have to go to /token to get a token, but I'm just checking, do I actually need to do that? Commercial experience. Oh, I see. Somewhere between middle and senior. I'm in a bit of a strange position because I started out as a data scientist and then have recently come to full stack development, although I have worked with a couple of startups as well, worked on DevOps and stuff like that. So I've got like a broad array of the different skills. Although my main focus has been Python, which goes along with the data science stuff. Does that answer your question? Okay, let's do login. And so we'll say def admin login. Yeah, so this is, well, so this is a bit more than a pet project. The plan is to fight Google in the niches. So essentially, the problem I have, a problem that I have, is when I try and search for content that I'm interested in on Google, it regresses to the average person. And so if I search for something, some deep tech article or something, it just gives me some nonsense by, like, for example, let's say like latest solar developments. Oh, Green Lancer, who are these guys? In recent decades, blah 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 blah. Right, support hub blog services. Ah, right, they do solar installations. I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is more people who are actually deep in the field, who are at the cutting edge of the technology and who write technical blogs. Now, Google doesn't show me that information because those people aren't the best people at getting to the top of Google search. That's a special skill set. It's not necessarily in the skill set of someone with a PhD in material science. So I'm creating a search engine that will allow me to crawl the websites I'm interested in and then serve them on the web. And this part is the authentication part that I'm working on. So Flar, I think I'm going to, if I pronounce your name Flar, I don't know if that's right or not, but does that make sense? Okay, so how do I pass in? So it's going to be deployed as, in fact, we can just see the architecture here. Hopefully that's clear enough. It's going to be deployed as a Docker container, and the idea would be it's open source, so anybody would be able to use one. And I want to make it so that you can essentially deploy the Docker container in about 5 minutes, as in with very limited knowledge. You could just deploy the Docker container. You could log on to the website, set up your admin account, and start the crawling process within a few minutes. And the way it works is I've already set up the crawling part of it. It's an asynchronous set of crawlers and processors, and it turns the information on each web page into vectors that allow you to do semantic search. And semantic search is sort of the more AI sort of search, where it looks at the text and says, okay, this is what I think the text means. And then when the user types in a question or a query, just like you do in Google, it will turn that into what the user means, and then it will find the most related content based on that. And then after that, I'll add in keyword search, and maybe I'll do Google PageRank as well. And then this information will be served to the user on a front end. And it will be a sort of, yeah, it will be servable as a website, essentially. But it's all contained in one Docker container so that you can do it easily yourself. And the point being, I would like, as much as possible, lots of people to use this and create their own niche websites, their own niche search engines. Okay, so we want this to be a post. Laptop post, here we go. Let's get rid of that, get rid of you. No, not every day, unfortunately. I stream it fairly regularly though, and I try and chop it up into the different parts that I'm working on. In fact, this stream will be over very shortly, unfortunately. So I'm just going to finish off this login thing, and then once I've done that, I'll be done. And I might stream on Tuesday. When I do stream, it will be Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. I can't guarantee any of those days, but it will be if it's those days, it will be those days in the afternoon at sometime past 5 o'clock. Okay. Do I want to do this? No, I tell you what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to look this up myself in the background, make sure I know the best way of doing it, and then I'll talk through it next time. I think there's a slight delay on the stream, so I'm not sure if I can talk and have you hear straight away. But so the tech that's being used is Postgres, Quadrant, which is a vector database, FastAPI for the web server, and FastAPI for the application side of things, and which is basically a Python backend, and Nginx for the server for handling traffic. I think it should be possible to get this in a T2 micro on AWS and host it for free for a year. That's the goal. And then if you look at things like, what's it called? Digital Lake or something. What's it called again? DigitalOcean. Yeah, I know what an MVP is, but I was just wondering what you meant by an MVP. I guess my point is, why would you need to know the MVP what the MVP is before knowing if you could use a niche search engine. As in, you need to know what features were available, or? Well, I'm just about to go, but this is the whole point of this, is that it's free and open source. So if you like, you can. Oh no, I can't do it from here. Here we go. Yeah, so this is my repo, and I've linked it below. So if you're interested, you can come and take a look at it. There's no README yet, but a lot of the code does work. So if you feel like it, come and take a look. It's got everything in it that I've got so far, like the front end and stuff which I've built with Svelte and SvelteKit, and a couple of notebooks for testing stuff, partial Docker. So yeah, if you are interested, go and take a look at it, and I'm going to keep on adding to it as I go. It'll probably be at MVP stage in, I think, maybe 1 or 2 weeks at this rate, just because I don't have dedicated time to do it. So yeah, hopefully I see you again, Flar. Thank you for watching, and maybe see you on Tuesday or Thursday or Friday. Goodbye.